Dear students, today we're going to continue our topic of triangles and polygons, and our lesson today will focus on finding the properties of some quadrilaterals, namely the square, the rectangle, the parallelogram, the trapezium, the rhombus, and the kite. So let's write down the title. And our objective. So our objective for today is going to be to learn the properties of various quadrilaterals. So let's start from the first quadrilateral, which is the square. Going to draw a square. Now, what are its properties? Some of them you already know. In fact, many of you might be saying right now, a square has 4 equal sides. And that is in fact a property. It has 4 equal sides. All sides are equal, and I'm going to mark them. That is the symbol we use to mark that sides are equal. Number 2, property number 2, if I had to ask you, many of you would tell me it has right-angled angles. In fact, it has all angles equal. And they are 90 degrees each. So it has 4 right angles. And that is property number 2. But it has another property, a very important property, property number 3, which many don't remember. So forget. The third property is that diagonals are equal and bisect, they divide into halves, bisect each other at right angles. So diagonals are equal. I'm going to draw the diagonals. Diagonals are equal. This is the first diagonal. This is the second diagonal. They are equal and they bisect each other. So the 4 small parts are all equal because they bisect, they divide into half, and they meet at right angles. And that is a very important property. So as you can see here, I have formed 4 isosceles right-angled triangles. Okay, and we might be able to use that property. Okay, so these are the properties of the square. Okay, second shape is the rectangle. The rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, and we'll see what are the properties of the rectangle. So properties of rectangle. First property, many of you might say it directly. It has opposite sides which are equal. So it has equal opposite sides. First property. Second property, you also know it, I'm sure about it. Second property is that it has 4 right angles. So it has equal angles. It has equal angles which are 90 degrees each. equal angles which are 90 degrees each. That's the second property. Third property also has to do with diagonals. Diagonals are equal and bisect each other. Very similar to the square. But this time they do not bisect at right angles, just bisect each other. Let me draw them. So we have the diagonals 1 and 2. They are equal. They bisect each other, so this is equal to this, is equal to this, is equal to this. But these angles are not right angles. In fact, one is an acute angle, the other is an obtuse angle. And those are the three properties of a rectangle. Next shape is the parallelogram. Let's draw a parallelogram. That is a parallelogram. So, what are the properties of the parallelogram? First property, opposite sides are equal, similar to the rectangle, this one. Opposite sides are equal. Second property, opposite sides are also parallel. So this is parallel to this and this is parallel to this. So number 2, opposite sides are parallel. Now property number 3. Property number 3 is about diagonals. In fact, diagonals bisect each other. They are not equal this time, okay? In fact, I'm going to draw the diagonals. One is short, one is long, but they do bisect each other, and that means that this is equal to this, and this is equal to this. Okay, so diagonals bisect each other. Those are the properties of a parallelogram. So opposite sides are equal, opposite sides are also parallel, and diagonals bisect each other. Next shape is the trapezium. Another quadrilateral. We have already met this shape when we have done areas. I'm going to draw a trapezium. So here we have a trapezium. Properties of a trapezium. This has the least number of properties, by the way. It has only one property. A trapezium has one pair of parallel sides. It has one pair of parallel sides. This side is parallel to that side. We can say anything about the diagonals, nothing else. Sometimes trapeziums have one line of symmetry, but that is only sometimes, and when that happens, you are told about that fact. So that is a trapezium. Let's go to another shape, the rhombus, very important shape. Let me draw a rhombus. It is very similar to a parallelogram, as you can see. So what are the properties of the rhombus? Property number 1. It has 4 equal sides, like a square, this one. Has 4 equal sides. So this side is equal to this side, is equal to this side, is equal to that side. Property number 2. Opposite sides are parallel, like a parallelogram. So this side is parallel to this side, and this side is parallel to this side. Now, about the diagonals. Property number 3. Diagonals bisect each other at right angles. So this is similar to the square. Diagonals bisect each other at right angles. Let me draw the diagonals. So I have the first, they are not equal, one is short and one is long, but they bisect each other, so this is equal to this, and this is equal to this, and at right angles. So there I have formed 4 right-angled triangles. Okay, so that is a very important property of a rhombus. So it has 4 equal sides, opposite sides are parallel, and diagonals bisect each other at right angles. That's the rhombus. Let's now go to the last shape, which is the kite. So let me draw a kite. So there we have it. We have our kite. What are the properties of a kite? So, first of all, number 1, first property is that adjacent sides, the sides next to each other, it has 2 pairs of equal adjacent sides. So this side is equal to this side, and this side is equal to this side. Number 1, it doesn't have parallel sides. So we're going to talk now about the diagonals. Number 2, diagonals meet at right angles. They do not bisect both each other. In fact, the longer diagonal bisects the smaller diagonal, but only at right angles. Okay, so we have, let me draw the diagonals. We have got the diagonals here. This is the first diagonal. This is the second diagonal. This diagonal, the shorter one, is bisected, yes, so this is equal to this, but the longer one is not bisected. It's not cut into halves. But they do meet at right angles, so strictly speaking, the diagonals of a kite form 4 right angle triangles, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the properties of the kite. So we have all the properties of all the shapes now. It is very important for you to study them and remember them. We shall be using these next year when we will be doing congruent triangles and similar triangles, so it's going to be very important for you to study them. Okay? I hope you have understood. If you have any queries, please contact me. Have a nice day.